Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
In the deepest parts of winter, when the world feels hushed and even sound seems afraid to move, there are places in Russia where people still hesitate before stepping into fresh snow. Not because of wolves, not because of the cold, but because of her. They call her Snegurochka, the Snow Maiden, a girl born of ice and longing, a spirit of winter shaped like a child. A legend told so often it stopped being a story and started feeling like a warning. Most people outside Eastern Europe know her as something gentle, a festive figure, a fairy tale companion to Dead Moras, the winter gift bringer, smiling, innocent, and harmless. But that version is the polished one, the one meant for children. The older stories are colder, and they do not end well. The earliest tales of Snegurochka come from rural villages scattered across Russia's endless forests, places where winter stretched long enough to feel eternal, and survival depends on respecting forces you cannot control. According to the most widely told legend, she was created by an elderly couple who had no children. One winter, lonely and grieving, they shaped a little girl from fresh snow. They gave her arms, legs, a face, and then whispered prayers into the wind as they worked. When they were done, they stepped back, and that's when the girl opened her eyes. She was pale, far too pale. Her hair was white as frost, her lips tinged blue, her skin cold to the touch. But she moved, she spoke, and she smiled. The couple raised her as their daughter, naming her Snegurochka. She was obedient, quiet, and gentle, and she never grew warm. No matter how close she sat to the hearth, the fire never reflected in her eyes. No blush touched her cheeks, and while she could mimic laughter, it always sounded distant, like wind passing through bare branches. Still, the couple loved her, and for a time the village accepted her, until the spring came. As the snow melted and rivers broke free of ice, their daughter began to change. But not physically, emotionally. She became restless, withdrawn. She watched other children play, but never joined them. She listened to songs, but never sang along. And when young men in the village began to notice her beauty, something inside her recoiled. In some versions of the legend, a young man fell in love with her. In others, she feels curiosity, something close to affection, but not quite human. Love, the stories say, is heat, and heat is death to snow. In one of the oldest tellings, the villagers celebrate the arrival of summer with bonfires. Music fills the air, dancing lasts long into the night, and Snegurochka, longing to feel what others feel, steps towards the fire. The moment the warmth touches her, she smiles, truly smiles for the first time, and then she melts. Not violently, not dramatically, she simply fades into mist, leaving nothing behind but damp grass and a chill that lingers long after the flames die down. The villagers tell themselves it was just a story, but winter always returns, and sometimes so does she. As centuries passed, Snegurochka's story evolved. Christian influence softened her image. Writers and composers turned her into a tragic heroine rather than a warning. She became a symbol of purity, of innocence lost, of the fragile boundary between nature and humanity. But folklore has a way of resisting polish. In remote regions, especially in Siberia and northern Russia, people began telling different stories. Stories where she didn't melt. Stories where she walked into forests during blizzards, leaving footprints that ended abruptly as if she vanished into thin air. Stories where children went missing in winter storms, only to be found days later, alive, unharmed, but unable to explain where they had been. They would say only one thing: "A girl in white took care of me." These later legends paint Snegurochka not as a child, but as something older, an ageless spirit bound to winter itself. Hunters spoke of seeing the pale girl standing at the edge of tree lines during heavy snowfall. She would never approach, never speak, but if acknowledged and followed, she would lead them deeper into the forest. Those who resisted said the cold intensified, as if winter itself disapproved of defiance. Those who followed were rarely seen again. Some bodies were found early in the spring, perfectly preserved in ice, expressions peaceful. Others were never recovered at all. Villagers began to leave offerings at the forest's edge: bread, ribbons, carved wooden dolls, not in worship, but in appeasement, because spirits born of nature do not understand human morality. They only understand balance. Even as cities rose and technology advanced, she refused to stay in the past. In the late 20th century, urban legends began circulating around Russia and Eastern Europe. Stories shared in hushed tones, online forums, and eventually creepypasta-style retellings. One of the most common modern legends involves children lost during winter blackouts. During power outages in remote towns, families would light candles and stay close together. But sometimes, when visibility dropped and snow swallowed sound, children would vanish from locked apartments. No forced entry, no footprints, and no explanation. Surveillance cameras, when they worked, sometimes captured a flicker of white in the stairwells, a small hand brushing frost across metal railings, or a face reflected briefly in dark glass. When the children were found, hours or days later, they were always warm enough to survive, always clean, and always calm. They were also always reluctant to talk about where they'd been. One of the most chilling urban legends tied to Snegurochka comes from a Soviet-era railway town in the 1980s. According to the story, multiple commuters reported seeing a young girl standing alone on an outdoor platform during a severe snowstorm. She wore outdated clothing, a white dress inappropriate for the cold, with no coat and no shoes. When approached, she would only ask one question: "Will you stay with me until the snow stops?" Those who refused felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Those who stayed described losing track of time entirely. One man claimed that the storm ended suddenly, as if someone had flipped a switch. The girl was gone, and when he boarded the next train, he discovered 3 days had passed. Railway logs confirmed it. The platform where she appeared was eventually closed after several unexplained deaths due to exposure. Victims found sitting calmly on benches, with snow gathered gently on their shoulders and their faces serene. Folklorists argue that she represents humanity's ancient fear of winter, a season that gives beauty and death in equal measures. Others believe she's a remnant of a pagan belief, a personification of forest spirits once worshipped and feared. But those who claim to have seen her say something different. They say she isn't malicious. She's lonely. A being created from longing, doomed to exist between the states, never fully alive, never truly gone. Drawn to children because they too exist on a threshold between worlds, drawn to warmth because she can never possess it. And when winter grows especially harsh, when storms feel personal, when cold presses against windows like a living thing, that's when people say she is the closest, watching and waiting. Old folk wisdom offers advice passed down quietly. Never follow a child into the snow during a storm unless you are certain they're human. Never accept warmth from someone who does not breathe. If you hear singing during a blizzard, cover your ears and keep walking. And most importantly, if you see a girl in white standing alone in falling snow, do not ask her name, because once she knows you can see her, winter will remember you. Snegurochka survives because winter does, because cold still kills, because loneliness still echoes louder in silence than in noise. She is a story we tell ourselves when nature feels too vast, too uncaring, and too alive. A reminder that some legends are not meant to comfort, they're meant to warn. As we leave you here, remember, the legends of our weird world are boundless. If you've enjoyed the stories, please share, like, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Your support enables us to keep these stories alive. Until next time, stay curious and stay warm.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.